Brad Washa. I'm one of the ops section chiefs with the Alaska Incident Management Team on the Aspen Acres fire. It's July 10th and this is the morning operational update. Last night we had a public meeting in Florence, and at that public meeting I talked about how I really don't like coming to Colorado anymore, and that's not because I don't like Colorado. I started my fire career at Mesa Verde on their helitech crew there, and then when I was going to graduate school at Colorado State, worked for the U.S. Forest Service on the Arapahoe Roosevelt. The reason why I don't like Colorado and why I was really disappointed when we got the order to come here was I have not had a good experience as far as structure loss within Colorado. Was on the 5 Mile Canyon fire near Boulder, the Waldo Canyon fire in 2012, and then the Black Forest fire the year following that, and then also involved with some post-fire activity with the Marshall fire. And we definitely have lost a lot of structures on the Aspen Acres fire. I think the numbers, and the Sheriff's Department is the one that actually releases the numbers of structures lost. It's not the incident management team, but I think they're showing right around 851 structures lost, and that's really unfortunate. But as many structures that we did see lost, flying the fire the last couple of days, there were a lot of good saves, and that was in part because people did work around their homes before the fire came through, and did home ignition zone concepts and that sort of thing, and along with the firefighters and a lot of good firefights to save those homes. So looking at today, and let's go back to yesterday. We did get a little bit of precip on the fire yesterday. There was about a 1/4 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch on the north part of the fire, but other parts of the fire did not see any of that precipitation. And again, a lot of times that precipitation is a thundercell, and we get some outflow winds. So we did see a little increased activity on the west side of the fire on the Pike San Isabel National Forest, and we're expecting to see some continued activity in that area today. Although that area did see about a 1/10 of an inch there was a shower last evening that came through, and that mellowed things out. Again, like we've talked about, those thunderstorms, that's not going to be enough moisture, and that flash of moisture does not really penetrate into the fuels. It doesn't penetrate through the canopy, and we need a multiple day type event to really have that precipitation have an impact on the fire. Today's weather is calling for similar conditions, maybe slightly cooler and a little bit higher relative humidity, so that does help reduce the fire behavior. We do have, again, a flash flood watch within the burn area because of potential for thunderstorms this afternoon, and we're looking at that flash flood watch being in effect from 12 o'clock till 2000, so 8 o'clock this evening. So we'll be watching for those thunderstorms, and if they do hit some of our areas of the fire, that does moderate the fire behavior, but it's not going to be enough to put the fire out. So let's look at what we have. We did have infrared flight last night, but there was cloud cover over the northern part of the fire, so it wasn't showing a lot of heat in that area, but that's because the cloud cover and the infrared cameras did not pick up on that. So we do still know what we have heat out here, and we don't just rely on the infrared photography, the data that we get from that. We are continuing to work this northern part in the Wetmore into Green Tree area. We do have dozer line pretty much around that, and having good success and feeling pretty comfortable as far as the fire being knocked down. We come around here, starting to see a little bit of work, as far as less work, actually, I should say. One of the things I was hearing in this morning's, we have a meeting before our briefing with the divisions and the branches. We're starting to hear a lot of people saying, well, I've got this resource available or that resource available. So we're not running out of resources like we were earlier, and that's kind of a good sign. As we come down, we start seeing more containment, actually basically just above the 78 road, all the way down through Colorado City and around the 65. So we have a lot of confidence in that area holding fire. We're not anticipating any additional growth. We continue to mop up within the fire perimeter within that area because we know there's a lot of structures, but I think we're showing 28% contained, and the fire is showing at 97,000 acres. Coming down here by Rye, We're continuing to put in a contingency line. Our major concern is the fire becoming active in here and having the potential, probably not during our tenure on this fire, but in the future of coming around, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So we're putting in some dose line, doing a little bit of prep work around homes and that sort of thing around this area in the advent that we do get fire coming into here. This was our big area of heat yesterday. It's a finger that's just above the Jackson Camp area. We've been trying to put dozer line along the Millset trail system. We've got it about halfway up. We're also trying to bring dozers down from the top. This top area, it's in some meadows. They started putting dozer line in and hit some wet meadows, so they had to pull back. They tried to re-engage, and then yesterday they actually had to pull back because of the fire activity here. We don't have resources on the ground. Yesterday we were hitting it with 4 of our 8 heavy helicopters. So we are taking action to try to keep it in check. The big concern is, will we get this line in place before the fire gets to it? We'll have to see. But I do think the fire might beat us to that operation, and we'll watch that. And that's why this area along the Rye area is very critical. Moving up along the fire, the other area where we had activity was in this area, kind of across from the Bishop's Castle area. That area, though, we do feel pretty comfortable with. We do have dozer line completely around it. I did hear some mention as far as they're starting to plumb that, so that means they're bringing hose lays in and being prepared if we have to fire that off to connect it to those dozer lines. And then we come back into the back up towards Wetmore and that, feeling pretty comfortable. We even have a little bit of containment around the Beulah area, so starting to feel again a little more comfortable, and that area has had fire in it for well over a week, so that's good to see containment within there. That kind of sums up what we have going on today. Just coming back to this Rye area, whether or not you live in Rye or in any of wildland urban interface within Colorado or any part of the United States, I'd advise you to look for some information on home ignition zones, and the concepts there is that you don't have anything flammable or combustible within 5 feet of your house. Within 5 feet to 30 feet of your house, you thin out vegetation, maybe have more of a manicured lawn, and then 30 feet to 100 feet out, thin up trees, limb them up, and that sort of thing. And that's the kind of work that we're doing around the Rye area, and that anybody that lives in the wildland interface should be concerned about. So with that concludes today's operational briefing for the 10th of July.